What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, and welcome back to another episode of the morning after show. Obviously, last night, Ryan Mason's first game in charge of Tottenham Hotspur, the youngest ever Premier League manager at 29 years of age. 2-1 win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Unfortunately, I didn't watch the game last night, but I saw quite a few highlights. So, I mean, I got the gist of how we were poor in the first half, basically. Not much doing. And in the second half, we came out to play. And I think Gareth Bale and a few others had really good, strong performances in that second half.
Yeah, and we did come out to play. It was a lot more aggressive. We were much more on the front foot. We were much more patient on the ball. It was nice to see. And when we did score eventually and we made it 1-1, it wasn't against the run of play. It was something I was expecting. It's something our good football was definitely worthy of. And I thought Mason did a good job with the team in terms of how he changed things up, the substitutions he made. I thought how he motivated the team in that second half to turn the result around. It's the first time this season we've been losing at half time and actually gone on to win the game. So I was very, very happy with that. And I think there's a bit of a feel-good factor you could see, especially in the second half. The first half was definitely more of the same, but I think in the second half we definitely turned it around, and I was very happy with the performance.
Yeah, I mean, are you any more hopeful now for Sunday?
I don't know, maybe a bit. I guess just the fact that people seem a lot happier with Jose gone, to be honest, and look, from like a tactics point of view and set up and shape and all that kind of stuff, it was a bit chaotic, I felt, yesterday, and it didn't seem like the team was being that well drilled and coached, but the difference was their attitude towards certain things, how they approached certain situations and how much fight and desire they had. That was the difference. It wasn't so much set up and structure and all these things. It was just a bit of chaos yesterday, but I felt that wasn't needed because at least the fundamentals, as they say, which were lacking under Jose, were there yesterday. And if we can have those on Sunday, it gives us more of a chance, I feel.
How was the defensive display? How was the fullbacks? How were the Toby and Dyer?
Yeah, what was good about the defensive display was that, especially in the second half, we were pushing really high up and not giving. So we were kind of suffocating Southampton, and that was a very big positive. And at the end of the game as well, when we're winning the game and there's 6 minutes added on time, we're not sitting back on in our own box. We're not dropping all the way back. We're actually still pressing high. We're still being brave, and we're actually pressing Southampton in their own corner, and we're keeping the ball there. And you know, when they get a throw, we're pushing players up and making sure they don't break out the lines. And that was the most positive thing. And that prevented us from being under any real late pressure. And so defensively, I would say it wasn't, especially in the first half, we could have easily conceded 2 or 3 goals. So it definitely wasn't perfect, but it was definitely braver. It was definitely something that we've been missing over the past few weeks. Instead of like just sitting back, it was positive.
Did it feel like the players were a lot more relaxed?
Yeah.
Did it feel like there was like a kind of a weight off their shoulders kind of thing with Jose going? Or did you not think it made that much of a difference?
I just feel like, yeah, in terms of attitude and desire and things like that, it definitely made a big difference. It made a big difference. So I was happy about that. It wasn't necessarily like the perfect performance and like everything was great, but
it was never going to be with 2 days.
But the attitude was spot on. And that's all you can ask for. That's what won us the game, really, because I don't even think we were that great in terms of, like, it wasn't like pinpoint passing all the time. It wasn't like great dribbling. And yeah, he's trying to call me as well.
I'll go take it, but you.
Yeah, I was just saying the fight is what won us the game because when you're fighting like that and you're playing against a team you know you are superior to. Then that's what makes all the difference. Let's try and look at some tweets. Then your tweets have been flying in. Let's take a look. Is it there? You can see it? All right. You've been sending in your tweets. Let's see what you got to say. Everything Tottenham. Can you see it? I'll try and get out for you guys 1 sec. Let's see what your guys are saying in the chat.
trying to print off his cup final ticket and he can't do it.
Oh. I need to call the club about that. If you haven't got the ticket, you haven't got it yet.
Yes, you do. All right, we're getting the Mason press conference up, or what?
I was trying to get the some tweets up while you were gone. It says Perez still saying it's not dead and it will happen. He said they have signed.
Not showing up, Sim.
I'm still reading it. He
said,
said,
unplugged it.
I've done it 3 times. He said, they've signed contract and left big competitions. Do you see it going ahead? He also said, Chelsea protest was staged. What does that mean? Yeah, look, I've got friends who went to the Chelsea protest, so it was weird that basically, I don't know if you saw Perez in another interview yesterday.
I saw,
another long one. Did you? I thought the most interesting part of it. I'll get up now. I remember liking it, so I remember to save it for tomorrow. This one, he says, people say this isn't about football merit, but it's wrong. Those 15 clubs earned it on the pitch. They've been winning trophies for the last 20 years. How can you say they haven't earned it?
Really? I don't remember any trophies we've been winning.
Have they?
I didn't get the memo. We've been winning.
I didn't get the memo.
Of course. They must be counting the Audi Cup.
That's
what
it
is.
Okay, fair enough. We did win the Audi Cup. I think we might have won. Did we ever win the ICC? Maybe we won the ICC.
I think we're 2-time winners of the ICC.
Oh man, we've been trophy laden for the past 20 years. But yeah, that's I thought that was an interesting little snippet there from Florentino Perez about the Super League. Yeah, look, he's not giving up on it. Maybe he's deluded or whatever, but
of course he's deluded.
He seems to think that.
What was he talking about? That he knows who sent the 40 fans to Chelsea to protest?
I don't know what he's chatting about. I got no idea. Seems like the actions of a desperate man. There were no people sending Chelsea fans saying, mate, I had a friend who went there. Like, he wasn't forced to go there by anyone. He went there of his own volition because he wanted to protest against the Super League. And it was a lot more than 40 people.
And we know the Louis and the Lewis was there and,
Exactly.
So like that were there. Even Thogden was there. And
pure delusion from Perez to say they were all sent there and he knows who sent them there and there was only 40 people there. It's just delusion.
What's he saying? UEFA sent them there or the Premier League sent them there?
He's claiming, I don't know what he's claiming. Eco BDO draw wasn't enough for Sonny to celebrate for Sonny, the leader, when Kane isn't on the pitch, and that is Sonny making.
The phone's working again.
Yeah, and that is Sonny making sure he that he gets the ball, and when the ball goes in, and everyone's off celebrating, but Sonny was the only one making sure that they run back to the centre circle and get the game going.
Yeah, I saw that. That was good.
Yeah, big up Sonny.
I find it a bit disorientating.
What?
Yesterday, not watching the game. I find it really disorientating not watching the Spurs game. It's the first Spurs game I haven't watched in years, man. Absolutely years. But obviously, it was for a bigger cause.
All right, let's keep. What's got Bob Spur in the chat? It says, I'm finding it hard to remember the last time I was watching us and had it's only a matter of time before we score feeling. Big up to you legends for everything you have done recently. Big up for Ben for being loud and proud. Oh wow, Ben just had to deal with something quickly, but as soon as he is back on, I'm sure I'll get him the message again. Zach says the game lasts for 90 minutes, not 45, so we have to play better. If Ryan Mason succeeds in his game in charge, would you want to keep him? I don't. You were asking this question last night. You asked me last night. Yeah, it was more of a joke when I asked it.
Look, it's one game, man. Everyone just calm down.
Yeah, but if he wins every game.
If he wins every game.
Yeah.
I mean, if he beats Man City 4-0 in the cup final and wins every other game, then we'll start to think about it. But come on, man, he's 29 years old. I think he needs
not even one good game, one good half.
He needs to earn his stripes first.
Yeah, I'm saying Nagelsmann though, he was very young when he started, wasn't he? So is his age just a number in that sense?
Could be. I think it will depends on your personal profile. You know what I mean? Like Nagelsmann and Mason, not exactly the same person. Not everyone that's 29 is the same person. It all depends on
your mic's off, Ben.
It all depends on your personal profile.
Says your mic's off.
He just turned it on. It all depends on the personal profile at the end of the day. You know, Mason and Nagelsmann, not exactly the same person. I don't know Nagelsmann's background, so I can't really tell. But In terms of Mason, look, he could be a good manager, but I just want someone a bit more experienced to lead us the way next year.
Josh King with a super chat says, Ben can't watch the final now as we are undefeated when he hasn't watched us. Take one for the team, Ben. We need the silverware.
Oh, Josh, is that your way of trying to get my ticket, yeah? Nice one.
Bob Spurs.
Yeah, I might not have watched the game, but I was on the front line trying to make a difference. So
Bob Spurs says, big up Ben for being loud and proud yesterday. Hashtag get greedy 6 out.
Yeah, but look, I think I kind of think protesting definitely is a positive thing to do. Definitely is the right way to go about it. I think we need more in numbers, but I don't think we're going to get Levy out like that. I think Levy is going to be. We need to go take it to Parliament, and we need this ruling to come in that they have in Germany, where kind of fans hold a stake in the club. What was it, 50% plus one share? What they have in Germany. So I think that is the way to go.
Yeah, because there's no billionaire who's going to come and buy us.
Exactly,
right now.
I know it's a fallacy, and you see it working very much so in Germany. You see the fans.
Cheap season tickets.
Yeah, I mean, the way they have it in Germany is completely spot on. You know, your match ticket is also your train ticket to get to the game and get in and around the city. Cheap tickets.
They actually care about the fans.
Cheap tickets, standing as well to help the fans out with the atmosphere and stuff like that. Atmospheres in Germany are brilliant. And obviously, they've got fans on the board as well, which massively help. And it speaks volumes that no German club were interested in the Super League. It speaks volumes. And it will remove the kind of ultimate greedy factor that we have in this country at the moment. And I think Boris was speaking very positively about it. Keir Starmer's trying to push it on the other side of the opposition. So you've got the Tories and you've got Labour all trying to push for it. So I think that it's a very positive step from what they're talking about. And John Burkow was on AFTV the other day, and he was saying that it's not impossible to do. It's obviously going to be very hard, but it's definitely possible to do. So I think that's the thing that we need to be pushing for.
Yeah, and people's like, I was listening to Simon Jordan today, and he was like saying on TalkSport, like, the fans. No, don't bring the phone up just yet. He said the fans. Joe,
can you turn my audio up a bit? Apparently it's a bit low.
He said the fans basically are partly complicit because of how they've always been demanding big signings and £100 million players and stuff like that, and that's partly true, but that's the only way we could in this country. That's the only way you can compete when you got Chelsea and Man City here. The only way you can compete is by not necessarily matching them financially, but investing heavily in your squad. And in Germany, it's a different case. You don't. They're like, I know obviously Bayern Munich have a monopoly on all the players there, but that's not the only way you can compete through that. And I think obviously Pochettino did show that you can get so far with your coaching methods and improving players and stuff, but it can only get you so far. It can never get you right to the top. And to get right to the top, you need to invest heavily, and that's the only way it's possible. And that's why people call for it. But it shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't need to be like that all the time.
Yeah, the thing is, we got to where we got to with Poch without heavily investment, and I don't even think we needed heavy investment from where we were with Poch. I thought we just needed one or two signings just to kick us on, kind of thing. Not even like real heavy investment. So it's just about keeping the progression going. I don't think it's all about kind of ploughing in money. It's about being smart in the transfer market. That's what it's all about.
We definitely haven't been that.
Yeah.
And what's Marcelo saying here? I can't. Should we see? He's going to send us a video, Marcelo.
Go on.
Let's see if we can hear what he's saying.
I can't hear. Can you put the...
No, I can't hear it.
I can see he's passionate though.
I don't know what he's saying.
Well, play it without the headphones thing and see if we can...
Play it on from your phone because I don't want to unplug the...
Where my phone is. Where is it, on Twitter?
Yeah, he sent us a Twitter DM.
All right, I'm going to put it back up to the mic so you can hear. This is Marcelo.
There's only one Ryan Mason. He said you don't like Kane. born at the lane, and his football is insane.
Big up Marcelo. Big up Marcelo. He's trying his best. He's trying his best.
Big up Marcelo, come on.
Now, okay, we can look at this tweet, I guess, from Bob Spay. Says it's from Jurgen Klinsmann.
Jurgen Klinsmann touting himself for the Spurs job.
Asked whether he could become Tottenham manager, a grinning Klinsmann told ESPN, "I tell you, anything is possible in life. I never thought I would coach Germany at a World Cup. I never thought I would coach USA for 6 years, or Bayern Munich. So we'll see in a couple of months
He coached
who will be
Bayern?
Spurs manager." He did for a
When?
short period of time, back in I think 2008. I think it was after he coached Germany.
Oh. How did he do?
Not great.
Oh.
Discussing Mourinho's sacking at Spurs, Klinsmann added, well, obviously it's a huge decision. The timing as well, a couple days before the cup final, they wanted to send out a signal that it wasn't going in the right direction. Daniel Levy cut the rope and will figure out what to do over the next couple of months. It was definitely a decision about Jose in terms of his style of play and what the Spurs fans want to see.
Do you want Jurgen?
Not particularly.
I mean, what's he done in his career? Managerial career.
Mostly international level, he hasn't really done
I mean,
much
he did
at
well
club
for
level.
USA, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, but he hasn't done much at club level. That's the truth. It was interesting actually listening to, who was it? Andros Townsend, who was on TalkSport. Where is this? Andros.
He's becoming a regular on TalkSport now, Andros.
Yeah. What was he saying? Because obviously he still has a lot of friends still at Spurs, and he said regarding Mourinho, he said Andros Townsend believes the media create a negative narrative against Mourinho because of how outspoken he is, and he says they make out that he's lost the dressing room because he's straight talking. If you listen to the whole thing, I don't think we can play it, but if you listen to the whole thing, he goes on to say, from what he's hearing, he didn't lose the dressing room before he got sacked. That's what Andros was saying. And obviously he knows Mason, he knows Kane, he knows all the lads pretty much who are still there. So I just think it's interesting to hear that.
But if he didn't lose the dressing room, then why are they playing like such idiots?
Look, whether he did or didn't lose the dressing room is irrelevant because what we were seeing was shite. So he had to take responsibility for it. But it's just interesting the narratives created.
But what I'm saying, if he didn't lose the dressing room, that's surely shows even more that he's a bit of a dinosaur with the way he's managing at the moment.
Yeah, whatever way you slice it, doesn't look good for Jose. But I thought it was interesting that from
Got
Andros.
a comment here from Grandpa. He says, a great day for Spurs, a great day for the fans, a great day for We Are Tottenham TV. Power to the fans. Get them on the boards. 100%. 100%, Grandpa. We need to get fans on the board. That is the next thing, I think, because we need fans on the board, because otherwise these things are going to keep trying to push through. They're going to keep trying to push these things through. You know, Florentino Perez ain't letting up. You saw Daniel Levy's statement. There was no remorse in there whatsoever, and we haven't heard anything since. We have not heard anything since.
He was at the game yesterday.
He was, and apparently Kroenke is addressing the Arsenal fans today or tomorrow.
Well, they've apparently they're planning a protest tomorrow, the Arsenal fans.
I've heard big protest at the Emirates tomorrow before the game. Big protest at Old Trafford and the Etihad this weekend as well.
Good.
And obviously with the news coming out with fans storming the training ground at Carrington this morning.
Yeah, that was breaking news this morning as we were driving in.
In Manchester. Apparently they were confronted by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Nemanja Matic and Michael Carrick. What do you make out of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the full story. I've just heard they broke into the training ground.
What they were reporting on TalkSport was that they were protesting outside the training ground and then they stormed in basically and they got in.
I don't know if they stormed in. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
I thought they broke in or something. I guess it depends what kind of... No, but storming kind of makes it look like they kind of barged everyone out the way and they got in. I don't think that was the case. I think they kind of just snuck in more than stormed in, if you know what I mean.
Well, they're at the front with the security and they get in, so I'm not sure how else they get in.
I don't know. I don't know the full, because storming implies there was a bit like violence or something involved. No, I don't think that was the case. I think they got in somehow. I don't think it was like they were barging security out the way or anything like that. That's not what I was understand. That's not the understanding I had of it. But I might be wrong. I don't really know. But they're sending a message, and I don't agree. I don't agree with all fan actions. It depends how they did it. If they've done it in a way where they're they're shoving people out the way, or they're they're hurting anyone.
Look, it's important to notice nobody was hurt. There was no one hurt at all.
Yeah, no, but they shouldn't be I don't know. Look, it depends how it was done, but I'm not against them making a statement on the training ground if they snuck in.
Would you make out of Jim White on Talk Sport calling them so-called Man United fans for trying to stick up for their club?
Come on, they're obviously he's trying to like
paint them with
this
with a
narrative
certain brush.
that they're like terrorists or something. You know what I mean? And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. They're just Man United fans trying to make their feelings heard. And that's all it is. Look, maybe they didn't go about it completely the right way. I don't know the ins and outs, but unless big messages are sent, they're not going to get the message, are they? So they need. Let's look at a big message sent. Joe, can we get the? Unless big messages are sent, nothing's going to be done. Let's see. There's a big
storming over to the Sky Sports camera.
Yeah, he's storming over. Leading the charge. There we go.
Basically, do you want to know the story of how this all came across?
Go on.
So we were all around the other side of the stadium with this banner and stuff, and it was kind of like the protest was kind of petering out a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And some guy who I was chatting to comes up to me and was like, "Come on, man, we need to do something. It's petering out a bit." And I go, "Yeah, 100%. Like, what are we gonna do?" And then he's like, "The Sky Sports cameras are around there. Let's gather everyone and let's march all the way to the Sky Sports cameras and send a message out to the world and let the world see it." And I was like, "All right, come on." And then I go to him. I said to him, "Look, tell those guys with the banner, lead the way, and everyone's gonna follow." And that's exactly what happened. So we all started marching.
And they just happened to be reporting live right at the time. Did you know?
No, he knew they were reporting live.
He knew they were reporting live
because he was watching it on his phone.
Okay.
So he's like, "Look, they're reporting live right now. Let's go and march over to them." And yeah, it was all this guy's idea, and credit to him. He kind of brought it to me to try and organise it, but he did a really good job. And the banner was in front. We stormed over. For some reason, I ended up in front of the banner. I'm not sure why or how. Or
yeah, you can see because when you first come around the corner, you're not in front of the banner.
I just got too excited when we come around the corner.
No, but I'm saying the banner. It's not. You didn't go in front of the banner. The banner kind of went behind you.
Kind of, yeah. I mean.
So it was behind you, so you couldn't really see that it was forming. But that's just how it happened.
Yeah, I obviously didn't want to be the guy right in front. I wanted the banner for the first thing everyone saw. But it's just the way it worked out, to be honest.
I want your reaction to this because when this video it might be a bit awkward, but I'll get a reaction to this because obviously there was this picture was posted by someone, and then obviously it was noticed that someone's got a club.
Yeah, that guy, man. What's he doing? What's he doing?
I don't know, but it does kind of undermine the point we're
Of
trying to make.
Of course it does.
Yeah, which wasn't.
I think someone even said something to him on over there.
Well, did he just come from the club shop like that day, or like, or was it from? Maybe it was from like a previous.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But someone did say something to him.
Oh really?
Yeah. Someone's like, "Why you? What is this?"
Yeah. Basically, why are you at the Unique Out protest? You're buying merchandise from the club shop.
Yeah.
I just thought that was. Well, look. It was a bit of a funny thing. People are taking the piss out of it, and I understand it. But it's not like all the fans there are like buying stuff from the club shop and then going to protest. But
I don't get
one guy there.
I don't get some people on Spurs Twitter. Even though they, in their profile they'll be ENIC out, very vocal on Twitter about ENIC out, and then when these events come around, they just take the piss out of them online and don't help. Why don't these people help? Why don't they help the cause that they believe in?
People like to ridicule. They prefer to ridicule than take part in anything.
But it's something they believe in.
Because I tell you why is because if you do something, if you actually do something and make a stand or put yourself out there, you open yourself up to ridicule. But if you ridicule other people, you're not doing that. They're like, or you're not opening yourself up to anything. You're just there to ridicule. You're just there to make fun of people, and then you're not opening yourself up to any criticism yourself. That's why people like to do that. And so when anything in any walk of life, even if they agree with you, if you're doing something about it, there will always be people there who would rather ridicule than help you, because if they help you, then they're opening themselves up to it, and it's easier just to ridicule.
Yeah, And like these guys on Twitter, they'll be like, "Oh, we need to protest. We need to do this. We need to do that." But then when actually something goes down, they're just still hiding behind their keyboards. Where it's an embarrassment.
Embarrassment. Oh, look at these fans. Oh, grown men. Oh, these people, man. I can't.
Not just
stand
grown
them.
men. It's like, I bet the vloggers are going to be involved. What does that even mean? What? So the vloggers care about the club?
And you don't. Yeah, I don't understand. It makes no sense.
And then I've seen people like, they're going there and all they're going to do is film and interview people. I was like, is that not a great way to get the message out?
Exactly. We're trying to get as much publicity for the protest as possible, so that we send a message to the board that it's unacceptable what they tried to do over the past 72 hours.
If anything, that gives it a much bigger reach. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it makes no sense, these people.
Exactly. If we're just there and like we put our phones away and whatever, like obviously we're part of the protest, but it won't reach as many people as possible, and that's the aim. We want it to reach as many people as possible so everyone sees it. No point just like doing it and no one seeing it.
Exactly. At the end of the day, we've built up this channel for 4 years and we've got a unique situation as opposed to other people that go protest, because we've got these 75,000 people here watching, and they can share it to, the reach is endless, really.
Exactly. So we decided to use our platform to get the message out there, and if you don't like it, then that's up to you.
Super chat from Marcelo. He says, "That's the best I can do, lads. It's 5 a.m.
No, fair play. I mean,
what are you doing driving around at 5 a.m.?
No one forced you to start creating chants at 5 a.m. So it's not like you're hamstrung. I have to be at 5 a.m. I have to have a song out. But I get it. And Mark Moore says, "All right, lads, been watching yous for over a year now. Love the content, and hopefully I can get over from Northern Ireland to the stadium next season. Come on, you Spurs. Well, you're welcome with open arms, Mark. We look forward to seeing you should you come down here."
Look, shall we take a look at Mason's press conference from last night?
Let's take a look at Mason's press conference.
For some reason, we are getting a lot of Middlesbrough fans in the chat.
Middlesbrough?
Yeah.
That's weird.
All right. Just take the live out, Joe. It's not live. All right, let's go to the press conference now.
Possible. First up is Ali Gold. I can see, so I'm just unmuting you.
I bumped into Ali Gold last night.
Hi there, Ryan. Congratulations. 100% record as a manager. Obviously, how did that feel, your first victory? And also, what did you say to him at half-time? Because there was a massive improvement in the second half.
Yeah, first of all, the feeling, yes, great. It's a massive relief. Obviously, it's been a bit of a whirlwind the last 2 or 3 days, but thankfully we got the win. And most importantly, I thought the second half we were outstanding. The performance, the commitment, the energy was brilliant, because I think in the first half we found it very difficult. Found it quite tough to get out. They were very good. They created some chances. Hugo pulled off 2 world-class saves for us, and but I thought as the game went on, I thought we gained control of it, and I thought there was only one team that was going to win the match.
But what did you specifically say to them at that break?
Listen, it was just about giving them the belief, the energy, to have the bravery to play and obviously express themselves. But within that, we had to compete as well, because I thought there was some situations in the first half where they were quicker to the...
What happened there? The audio just turned off for us.
Second ball and the duels, the tackles, I thought they were coming out on top, but we changed that second half. We gained full control of the match. We played the match pretty much in their half, I felt. And listen, I thought we fully deserved to win the match overall.
Jonathan Veal.
Ryan, congratulations on the win. I'm not sure if you saw before the game, there were quite a few fans outside protesting against the club. First of all, what's your opinion on that? And secondly, a night like tonight where you can win, a good way to sort of get all the fans united and get everyone back on the same page.
First of all, I can't have an opinion because I wasn't aware of that. I didn't see it. We didn't see it from the coach, so can't comment on that.
Southampton coach definitely saw it.
I think the most important thing was to create a good energy around the place. Obviously, when you're winning matches, that does that. I think more importantly, the performance in the second half was how we want to be. And thankfully we've got the win, and we can look forward to tomorrow now.
Jerry Cox.
He says he didn't see it. Do you know? Did you with the Spurs? Did you see the Spurs coach?
No, we saw the Southampton coach drove past us, not the Spurs coach.
What?
There was no Spurs coach.
There was no Spurs coach.
Huh? That's what I'm saying. The Spurs players just drive in, don't they?
Well, you don't think they would have seen you?
Maybe. We didn't see any, but maybe. Maybe some cars drove past.
Do you think it's interesting? Maybe it's just I'm reading too much into it, but he keeps saying, he doesn't say I don't have an opinion. He keeps saying I can't have an opinion.
Is that what he says?
He said that. He said that, and he said that in this pre-match press conference as well. He says, "I can't have an opinion on that because I don't know the facts and stuff like that." But maybe it's just the way he's deciding to say it, and I could be reading too much into it.
Look, at the end of the day, this guy is the official mouthpiece of the club right now.
Yeah.
He's on very good terms with Daniel Levy, obviously, coming through the ranks all these years. He's going to be one that's going to be under the club's spell. He's not going to come out and say anything. What's he going to say?
Yeah.
He can't say anything. I mean, Daniel Levy's just given him the opportunity of a lifetime.
True. And he's probably very lucky to be in that position. And obviously, he's always going to try and bat away those questions, isn't he?
He's always been that kind of character that's been a bit like that as well. Do you remember? He wasn't even working for the club at the time when we interviewed him, and he was very...
He might have been was he not a coach?
Maybe.
He might have been a coach at that time, no?
Was he? Maybe you're right. But either way, he was very sanitised then as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Extremely sanitised.
Actually, he might not have been. I can't remember.
Either way.
Yeah.
The point stands.
That's true. I think also, because he's such a Tottenham boy, he probably feels a responsibility, doesn't he, not to cause any discontent or any bad feeling. But what do you think, what his comment says, it's important to create a positive atmosphere at the moment around the club? Do you reckon he's kind of saying the protests don't help that, or do you think he's commenting on that when he says things like that?
Sorry.
When he's saying like we have to create a positive atmosphere around the club. I mean, he said wins obviously help that, but we have to try and create some positivity.
Yeah, we do have to create some positivity. But the ownership of these 6 clubs have made it very hard to fully back everything that's going on at the clubs. And the positivity is making changes at the top. That's the main positivity that we need. That's the positivity.
I see. All right. Let's go.
Hi Ryan, congratulations. Just quickly, is any progress on Harry Kane's injury? Do you know he's likely to be available on Sunday? And how does that give you confidence going into that game on Sunday to get a win under your belt?
Now, with Harry, it's just a case of taking it each day as it comes. We all know that Harry is doing absolutely everything he can to be back out on the football pitch. Today he wasn't, but hopefully by the end of the week we'll know a bit more about that. In terms of going into the weekend, of course it's important to go into the weekend off the back of a positive result and also a positive performance. And I think from the second half we can take huge belief from it.
Matt Nash.
Hi, Ryan. Do you feel that's a result that can really lift the players, lift the team, the squad, and also the club ahead of Sunday now?
Yeah, like I said, I think when you want to go into a big game like the weekend is, it's always ideal to go into it off the back of a win. And I thought the manner in which we won the game says a lot about the group, the commitment, the belief, the energy. It was outstanding in the second half, and I'm very proud of the group for the effort they showed tonight.
Rebecca?
Yeah, all I can say is from what I was listening to on the radio, because me and Joe, obviously, I don't know if you know, but we were stuck on the side of the road waiting for help because my car broke down, burst a tyre last night, so we couldn't even get to the studio. But from what we were listening to on the radio, I said to Joe, didn't I? I said to you in the second half that it sounds like we're going to score. It sounds like we're playing well. It sounds like we're going to score. As opposed to what it was like in the first half, it sounded like we were just playing crap. And yeah, I guess you got to agree with him. You got to commend the attitude on the pitch for that second half.
Yeah, and as well, the most exciting thing, or the thing I'm so happy about, was the fact that we didn't have Harry Kane on the pitch, and we still look really good. We look creative, and we didn't look lost for ideas without Harry Kane. and we had Son up front.
Mason is a student of Pochettino. What do you expect?
Exactly. It was actually interesting. We actually had Lucas up front for the majority of the game. It wasn't actually Son up front. It was Son on the left. And
Did he
Lucas
stay up
top.
front for the second half?
Who?
Lucas.
It was a bit more fluid in the second half, but in the first half it was definitely a bit more rigid of Son staying on that left-hand side. But you saw, Son with his goal that got ruled out, he was being much more in a central area. So he was drifting into central areas a lot more in the second half. But in the first half he was much more stuck out on the left. But we looked good in terms of going forward. I thought Ndombele, Lo Celso, Højbjerg,
I heard Reguilon
worked, and Reguilon as well. They all worked really well together in that middle, and we built up play really well. I think a lot of it as well was due to Southampton in the first half. They were a lot more energetic and they were really crowding us out.
Danny Ings going off injured as well.
Danny Ings going off injured definitely contributed, but they were already dropping off before then. And Spurs already had a bit more control even before Danny Ings went off injured, but that definitely helped. But in the first half, if you saw, like, whenever Son had the ball, they had 2, 3, 4 men around him, like, just snuffing him out every time. And same with, like, Lo Celso as well. The amount of times in the first half Lo Celso had the ball and he seemed to have just lost it, but it was because he had, like, 4 men around him. And I said to John in the first half, look, Southampton are playing well, but they're putting so much energy in and they're not going to be able to keep this up. I can tell you this right now. And when the second half came around, they dropped off a lot. And all of a sudden, Tottenham had a lot more space to play in. They were making triangles. They had a lot more patience about them, and that's why it paid dividends. Obviously, you need character to get your foot on the ball and not panic and do all these kind of stuff and make sure you may take advantage of it. But a lot of it was to do with Southampton as well dropping off. I
mean, from what I was hearing is that in the first half, the attitude actually wasn't that great, and the pressing was not really non-existent, and we were just pressing in ones kind of thing, with Sonny pressing once, then Lucas pressing, but then in the second half, it all kind of completely changed.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it was down to Southampton as well dropping off. All right, let's finish the press conference.
Congratulations. Just a quick question on the European Super League. I know you spoke about it before the game and just now as well. And you said you wanted to focus on the game. But do you think your fans deserve an apology?
Rebecca, I'll be honest, and I've said this all along, I really can't have an opinion on it because the last 48 hours, I'm sure you can respect the fact that my mind, my energy has been fully involved in this game, in preparing this game. And likewise, now the game's done, I'll enjoy it for a few moments, but my energy is on training tomorrow. It's about preparing the team for the weekend. So I'll be honest, all the outside noise, I've completely shut out of it, and my full focus is on preparing a group of players to win football matches.
Okay, Dan Kilpatrick to finish.
And that's probably the right attitude to have as a football manager at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's how well. I mean, when he says to be honest, I don't know if he actually is being honest because I'm sure he's spoken about it with people. But
he said, "I'm going to be completely honest with you."
I'm going to be completely honest, no stone unturned. I'm going to tell you everything. I can't have an opinion. So that's why. So I don't believe he hasn't discussed it. And I'm pretty sure. Like, it was very refreshing. Actually, I was watching Match of the Day last night, and I wasn't paying attention to the Chelsea game at the time. But I was watching some of the highlights on Match of the Day and what Tuchel had to say after the game, and he said the interviewer asked him, "Has the Super League stuff, impacted your preparation, and what how has it been with all this stuff going on?" And he said, "I can't deny, like, we've pretty much been talking about the Super League and training in between, and obviously it's going to have an effect. That's all we've been talking about over the past 48 hours. And he said that the interview asked, has it affected the players? And he said, it's affected me. So obviously it's going to affect the players as well. I can't say I haven't been affected by it. So I think it's affected everyone, and that was clear as day to see. And I think yeah, Mason, I'm sure as soon as he got the job, he's definitely been doing his best to do his best at Tottenham Hotspur, and I'm sure that this job has taken precedent over any talk of a Super League or whatnot, but I don't believe for a second he hasn't talked about it at length with the coaching staff or some of the players, for sure, especially seeing as a lot of the players are his friends as well, or former teammates that he knows very well, and I'm sure he can speak fairly openly to them. Like, I'm sure he's discussed it.
Yeah, there's no two ways about it, but at the end of the day, you've got managers like the managers that are coming out to talk about it, like Pep, Klopp, Tuchel. I mean, they're all kind of massive names in the management game, massive names. And Ryan Mason's a little rookie manager, first game in charge. one wrong step, he can easily get this dream job taken away from him.
Yeah, they could take it away from him without thought, because
Exactly.
they haven't invested anything in him. It's just if he says something wrong, they wouldn't have a second thought about sacking him. Grandpa says, don't forget Bale. His performance was outstanding, mainly in the centre. Yeah, Bale as well I thought actually a lot of the time was he was out on the right hand side, but there were shades of sometimes he was cutting inside and using his pace and strength to hold off people and get shots off at 25 yards and things like that. And there was why did Mourinho just drop Bale and never use him again? It was just so when we see Bale play like he did yesterday, it just makes you think Mourinho just got that badly wrong.
Did he track back?
Yeah, he made a few tackles. Didn't quite track back all the way to the fullback areas, but there was one time he was made this sliding tackle in the centre circle, and on the halfway line. Really great tackle as well. And there are a few other moments he was tracking back. So what he did, he definitely put in some hard yards. He wasn't just hanging around the halfway line and not tracking back at all. He definitely was tracking back.
What's your opinion on taking him on for another year?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're all toing and froing, aren't we, with this? I think we are to accept if Mourinho stayed on, it was never going to happen. I think now Mourinho's gone, the chances are much better, but he definitely needs to have a very strong end to the season to convince us.
Look, I think that his form from when he's been on the pitch from February time has been brilliant. Apart from that Arsenal game aside, whenever he's got on the pitch, he's had a good performance.
Yeah, what is his stat? So this is from the Premier League panel. If I can get this up, it says Gareth Bale now has 12 goals and assists in his last 9 starts. He was in the middle of his best form of the season, using him as a scapegoat for the losses against Zagreb and Arsenal, and benching him for the last 4 games epitomises some of Mourinho's modern day man management issues.
It's true, and against Zagreb, he was the only one trying to have a go at the end.
I remember we said against Zagreb, he was actually the one. I know for some reason, people say he played badly in that game, and I don't understand why.
He was the only one trying to do anything.
I think he just gets lumped in with everyone because we lost 3-0 and we were obviously embarrassing, and it was a horrific performance. And then because for some reason, because Bale came on with 20 minutes to go and played extra time and we still didn't score, he gets lumped in with everyone else in that embarrassment. And I actually remember at the time we said Bale was actually one of the only ones not only trying but actually looking like he was going to do something. And unfortunately it didn't work out. Yeah, of course, and we're all disappointed, but I'm all embarrassed by what happened. But putting any of the blame on Bale, I thought was absolutely ridiculous. Against Arsenal, I kind of understood it because so many of the problems came down that right-hand side, came down his side. It was you could actively point at Bale for that one, in terms of how he hung Doherty high and dry in that game and stuff like that. But I think to have completely discarded him pretty much ever since that half was way too much, and big failing.
Yeah,
of Mourinho.
I completely agree.
Especially when he puts in performances like he did today, just when he's coming back, showing that he still has his heart in it and everything. And it was interesting what he said about after the game. He said, this isn't about me and my fitness. This is about Tottenham Hotspur, and I really care about Tottenham Hotspur, and that's what I want to have a really good end to the season. And that's what people have been calling with him to say stuff like that.
I got a feeling that he's going to be here next season.
I think a lot of it might, first of all, it's difficult. I think there's so many moving parts. Are we going to get Champions League? Who's going to be our manager? Will Levy stump up the money for Bale for another year, especially now where it's even more bad feeling between the fans and stuff? He could either throw them a bone with another year of Bale, or would he say, stuff these fans. Why should I spend another 200 grand a week on these ungrateful shits kind of thing? You know what I mean?
Not about, in his eyes, it's not about us. In his eyes, it's about lining his pockets, and he wants to know what the most likely way of us getting back in the Champions League is, and that is having a Gareth Bale. He's got the X factor. Yes, he might not be able to get on the pitch as much as we'd like, but he's got an X factor, and when he's played second half of the season, he's proved that.
Yeah, but who? Yeah, but who's he played well against? It's been Palace, Fulham, Burnley, and Southampton. Yeah, obviously you can only play well against what's in front of you, but he needs to do it first of all consistently, and maybe also well against better opposition. But
you can only do it consistently if you get the chance.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I want to see last 6 games or 5 games of the season. I want to see him starting every game and contributing in most of them.
Well, let's see how he does it on the big stage this weekend.
Exactly,
because he's definitely going to start.
I think he'll start the cut, especially if Kane is out. It was interesting. I don't know if he says it in this press conference. Let's finish it because only a minute to go, and then I'll get to what Mason was saying.
Hey Ryan, Your predecessor didn't always play Gareth Bale. I mean, did you have any doubts about starting him today? And do you think he can be, given his experience, the kind of player who can make a difference on Sunday?
Listen, Gareth's an exceptional player. He's had an exceptional career. I think especially when you don't have Harry in the team, you need someone who can produce moments in the final third, and that was the decision for Gareth today. And thankfully, he's repaid that. The effort he showed and also the quality for the finish was absolutely outstanding.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Yeah, and that's why I completely agree about. I completely agree about without Kane, the need for Bale definitely increases, and we need that quality in the final third when Kane isn't on the pitch, and I completely agree with that. And I think it showed yesterday when Kane was out, we still had Bale and Son in the team, and we still had that quality to make the difference in the final third. Obviously when Kane's there, it's much better, but when he's out like he is yesterday, we need players to step up, and that's what Bale did yesterday.
Yeah, and I think that's what he has been doing since more or less February, when he's got on the pitch. But what I want to ask you, Sim, Harry Winks coming on with 20 minutes, 15 minutes to go, apparently really putting in a positive performance. What message have you got to send out there?
Yeah, look, Harry Winks is back. I don't know. Look, I think he's had such a poor last, I would say, 6 months that he needs to obviously show it more consistently. But I must say, yesterday he came on the pitch with I think 25 minutes to go, went off for Ndombele looking really tired, and he was a really good positive effect on the team. He helped regain control of the midfield. He was sharp. He was when he was on the ball, he was doing little movements and little steps, like he was confident again. He was looking forward as well. And I was really happy with Harry Winks yesterday, and I'm happy he had a good game and a good performance. And as I said, Harry Winks with confidence is a different player to how he was been performing in the last 6 months. And he is definitely him, and players like him and Bergwijn, they need an arm around the shoulder. They need to be told how good they are and stuff like that.
Did Bergwijn do well when he came on yesterday?
Bergwijn did okay. He didn't really do much in an attacking sense, but he had a couple moments. It was more him coming on and just chasing things down and working hard. He wasn't on for long, like maybe 5-10 minutes, so It wasn't the longest. But I was happy Harry Winks came on and influenced the game in a positive way, and hopefully from now to the end of the season, whenever he does play, he can have more of an impact. And so it'll be interesting to see that.
Super chat here from Cyan Mukherjee saying, we in India Spurs, 25,000 people are against the ESL and want ENIC out as well. Love from India. Can we have a shout out for India Spurs? Would love to do a collab with you guys. Always, mate. Always looking to collab with Spurs fans, but big shout out to India Spurs. Big shout out. Thanks for the message, guys. Then Grandpa is... Oh, here we go. Grandpa in the comments saying he might even bring back Rose.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe Rose has a future.
Grandpa hasn't given up the Rose train yet.
If we've got a new contract for Rose incoming. Imagine Grandpa, he's on the board as a fan in the current...
Make Rose captain.
Rose is getting a new contract, mate. But unfortunately, Rose is not part of the 25-man squad, so he can't play from now to the end of the season, unfortunately.
Can he play in the Cup, though?
No.
No, he can't play in the Cup.
I think he needs to be registered. He can't play in the Cup. Spurs till they kill me, says Jose blamed for a lot. Jose got blamed for a lot he didn't deserve. However, dropping Bale was his biggest mistake. Bale yesterday was unplayable. They were doubling up on him, and yet time and time again he was skinning them. Son, Kane, Bale is back, baby. And that's what I think from now to the end of the season. I think those three, when possible, I think at least Bale has just got to play as many minutes as possible. Just even if I think just to get that good feeling back, because I think Spurs fans, it'll put a smile on their face seeing Bale have a good end to the season and put in some more good displays and stuff like that. And I think that's the only real way we're going to have a real positive end to the season is if Bale is really heavily involved in it.
Let's talk about Dele Alli. Because obviously Mason and Dele were teammates, obviously. We all expected Dele to come back in the team yesterday. Well, he was in our predicted lineup anyway. Didn't even get on a sub. What did you make out of that?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit interesting. I really thought he was going to play some minutes at least. He did. I don't know if you saw after the... Huh? Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah,
after
I
the
saw
game,
on your show.
he did an Instagram
I
live.
saw on your
didn't
show.
really-
But that's the exact same Insta Live as he did like last week, that thing that I was talking about.
was he saying anything, or I couldn't really hear if he was
Nah,
saying,
he's
it was
just rapping along into
Big 3 points like every 15 minutes and then just carried on singing.
right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Sounds this. Yeah,
No, it's
there's-
only the first game, and we'll see how it all plays out with Delhi and stuff. I think it is a bit telling that in Mason's first game, though, he didn't get any minutes because with everyone clamouring for Mourinho to use Delhi more, with Mason coming in and who knows Delhi very well and knows his character and knows what's going on.
Someone said that he was very happy for the boys on his Instagram last night.
But I think if he really was a player who still had his heart in it and still had still deserved more minutes on the pitch, Mason definitely would have picked him. So the fact that he didn't shows to me that maybe there's more going on than just Mourinho alienating him and stuff like that. But we'll see. We'll see how he ends the season and if he gets more involved. But yeah, I thought he would have got some minutes, but he didn't.
It seems as though his career is just going one way at the moment, Dele Alli. It's really sad. Sad to see.
And most unfortunate thing is that's what people were worried about when he was like 19 and bursting on the scene, and he was playing really well, and people were like, let's just hope it doesn't get to his head and stuff like that. And it has, it seems. And it has all got to his head, and that's the most...
he's still young enough to turn it round, though.
Yeah,
that's
for sure. He's only 25, so... What's this? Spurs to Ed Woodward has had to quit Man United after turning on the Glazers by refusing to back the Super League proposals. That's what United Stand are saying. So apparently Ed Woodward was standing up against the
Woodward's
Glazers.
a bit of a hero for them.
Now he's a
hero. They were celebrating him going.
So now Woodward's a hero.
Let's have a look at some of the headlines. The Times saying League grabs back power from the Big Six. UEFA thanks English game for killing a breakaway. Have we heard about what's happening with this commission? Are we getting let back in? Are we being punished? What's going on?
We don't know. Apparently they're still assessing their options. We don't know yet what's going to happen. We might be punished. We might... I don't know.
I mean, I think the punishment should be a European ban for these teams. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, but if you punish them, then they're just going to... A lot of these teams will again, think... they've done this, a lot of them, or agreed to it. Obviously, it was horrendous and it was a power grab, but a lot of it is to do with because all these clubs are losing so much money and they want to recoup it.
Yeah.
And
but there's an ethical way to do it.
I know. I'm not saying there's not. I'm not agreeing with it at all. I'm just saying. I'm just explaining it. And so if you then punish them further by saying, all right, you're now banned from Europe, they're going to turn around and say, well, they could basically turn around and kind of try. This is it's never going to end in a way. You need to kind of have an olive
If you do something like that, then you have to be punished for it.
Yeah, I don't know what the punishment is.
And I get the whole thing. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I still think that a punishment of Europe is the right thing to do, because I just think it is the right thing to do. You got to hurt these because nothing else will hurt these chairmen apart from in their pocket.
That's what I'm saying. They're already hurt with their pocket. Is the point? Look, Florentino Perez trying to gain sympathy by saying, "Oh, we've lost all this money. Look how much money we've lost," and all this kind of stuff. It's your fault. You spent 100 million on Hazard, who's played 2 games for you. How much did you spend on Jovic? 60 million or something on Jovic. You barely played him. You've been making shit decision after shit decision after shit decision. Now you're turning around and saying, oh, look how much money we're losing. How bad, how terrible is it? It's it's your fault, mate. I know the pandemic is coming and stuff, but this is a lot of it is your doing. And you can't just now turn around and say, because we were so awful with our spending over the last 2 years, now we should be bailed out, or we need to go.
Look,
now
they've been reckless. They've been reckless for years. For years. How many years have they for 10, 20 years, Real Madrid have been reckless in spending money. Every year they're spending monies on complete superstars. So what do they expect? Someone had to give at some point.
Someone's asking what you said to Ali Gold when you saw him.
Oh, well, we just said hi, to be honest. I mean, we started having a bit of a conversation, and then things started to kick off in the protest. He was like, "Oh, I got to go record this."
And he said that.
Yeah,
vloggers out of football.
Yeah, I was just chatting to him, and then he goes, "Oh, sorry, I got to go record this. Let's carry on this conversation." And then I never saw him again.
Yeah, we're big fans of Ali Gold.
Yeah, of course,
he's a great guy.
The Here We Gold.
The Here We Gold. He hasn't taken as strong a stance as we have on these things, but it's a bit different for him. He's a journalist.
He's a mouthpiece of the club.
He is. He is a fan still, isn't he? I think he's a Spurs fan, isn't he? But he's more exactly. He's more of a mouthpiece of the club as opposed to like he would never go hard against like Levy or anything like that, because then he'll probably stop getting info. I'm guessing
he'll stop being let in.
And stop being let in, exactly. Spurs profile, and then Alistair Gold has said in his latest column, the Spurs profile for their ideal next manager, whose one is progressive, attacking-minded, favouring possession-based football, and most importantly, fits into the club's culture. So Ryan Mason.
Got a comment here from Grandpa.
Another comment. Grandpa's loving the
saying
comments today.
Punishment to the owners is okay, but to punish the players and the manager or the fans would be absurd.
I understand that, and I kind of agree. But on the flip side, how many times do clubs get punished for like going into administration and things like that? And that's not the fans or the players' fault, is it? That's because the club have run it awfully, and then there's a points deduction and relegations and all that kind of stuff, and that's awful for the fans. That's terrible for the fans, but it's not the fans' fault either. So how you can't accept that and then on the flip side say this is unacceptable.
I mean, isn't it just like any other business? If an owner of a business does a bad mistake for the company, everyone suffers for it.
Yeah.
So isn't it the same thing?
Kind of, yeah, exactly. I agree.
So it's just the consequence of that. The fans and the players and the manager will suffer of a bad mistake from an owner of a club.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. And if it means
they screwed up massively, and they have to take responsibility.
And if it means that they're going to punish us with, I don't know, let's say for argument's sake, a point deduction in the Premier League or banned from Europe for a year, I mean, obviously that's not what I want to see, but I would accept it because of the sheer audacity what they tried to do.
Yeah.
But the Times are saying Mason pep talk transforms Spurs.
Sorry?
The Mason pep talk.
Ah.
Mason's pep talk transforms Spurs.
Come on.
I would love to know what they said. They kept trying to get it out of Bell. What did he say? What did he say? What did he say?
What word? What these magic words Mason said? Oh my God! And also someone said Bale just did this, and I think what is that game? What was it? Score.
Oh
when
yeah,
you just Bale just did that, and look, it was a great finish. To be fair, look because from where he took it from where he took it from, that is not an easy finish at all. To get that into the far corner, it was beautifully bent into the corner.
Grandpa,
and it was a great goal.
Grandpa says in response to what we were saying before, he says, "Not really. The directors get fined, but not the employees."
What do you mean? In what? What's he talking about?
In terms of when I was talking about punishment, if an owner does something wrong in the business, everyone will suffer, and he's saying, not really. The directors get fined, but not the employees.
Well, I hear that. No, that's okay. I hear that, but also if the director does something wrong, then the whole company can lose money. It can lead to layoffs and things like that.
Exactly.
And then everyone does get hurt. But I want to know what he thinks about like punishments for going into administration and points deductions and that kind of thing, because that is commonplace in this game, and no one really complains about it. No one says, "Oh, they're wrong to give these teams point deductions because their clubs are run badly and stuff like that." But when it comes to this, everyone's now saying, "Oh, you don't want to hurt the fans." And I think it's true, but it's true in both instances.
Yeah. You know what doesn't sit right with me though as well? I mean, I was hearing it a bit on TalkSport today, and I think a lot of people were talking about it around Tottenham last night. Was that Sky are trying to paint this brush about how they're so for the fans. I mean, they're the ones that started ruining football for the fans. You know, different kickoff times and all this kind of stuff. Pay-per-view. Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, all of them. And they're trying to paint this brush about how they're doing this all for the fans, It's such bollocks, man. They're just trying to get us all on side to kind of shout their argument so the Super League doesn't happen. But it winds me up, man, because these people they're not our friends. They don't care about the fans at all. They'll stab us at the back at any opportunity.
They cared just as little about the fans as.
And they're using us, basically. They're using us to get their argument across.
Exactly. And because it's in their best interest for the Super League not to happen. And I understand that. But it doesn't mean that they're not completely complicit they led to a culture that led to this, to be honest. It was their part of the problem as well. Sky and all these people and UEFA and FIFA, they're all part of the problem. So we can't forget that as well.
100%.
Cyan again says, we are really happy to get our winning form back. Forgive me, guys, if I sound negative. I think Jose, too, had a good run of games, and 2 when he was appointed. Just hope it doesn't turn out the same. Cyan, don't get your hopes up, mate. It is going to turn out the same. But just enjoy it for now.
And here's a picture of the protest last night in the paper.
Are you there?
No.
You're not on this one.
But there you go. A simple charter to stop this ever happening again.
Exactly.
Anything on the actual game?
Let's see this DM. Philip has sent us a DM. Says, don't get me wrong, Tottenham weren't playing well first 8 to 10 games of the season. We played super defensive football with counter-attacking plays. Every pundit said no one likes that style of play. So player style again changed and we dropped drastically down the table. Mourinho didn't help himself but did show the defensive issues with our team. We lacked a defensive pairing, and the one thing I would love to see Mason do is stop changing the centre-back pairing and stick with a pairing for the rest of the season. I believe there are certain players in the Tottenham squad with serious attitude problems with playing for the badge. I hope Mason can bring stability, and even if we fight every match, I'll be happy with that. And I think that's pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
Pretty much spot on.
Yeah. We got a super chat here from Cyan saying, we all are really happy to get our winning form back. Forgive me, guys, if I sound negative. I think Jose, too, had a good run of games when he was appointed. Just hope it doesn't turn out the same. Oh, you just read that one out.
Yeah.
And then one here from Brandon Sebastian. We are just consumers, not fans to them. And that's absolutely spot on.
Right. According to Sky Sports, apparently one Premier League owner is close to throwing the towel in and selling the club.
Guarantee you that's not Spurs.
Yeah. Never know. We'll all cross our fingers.
We've got one. Bale kickstart for boss Mason and late Sonny penalty revives top 4 bid. Was it 100% penalty for you?
Yes, it was a penalty. It was a penalty. I think it was a foul, and I did think it was just inside the box. So I think it was a bit lucky in the sense that it was right on the line, but I think it was a penalty at the end of the day. I think it was a penalty. Angie says, surely when a club goes into administration, a points deduction is a consequence, as the club can't be fined because they haven't got any money. Therefore, the points deduction is the only option in that situation. I believe a fine is the best option for the 6 teams that join the Super League. There might be fined from the... Well, Perez is threatening a fine now from the Super League.
Perez is saying, none of the clubs paid their exit fee yet.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God, Perez, that man. The audacity of that man is unprecedented.
But it's true. These idiots signed a binding contract.
Who knows if it's binding?
Well,
it must be binding.
They signed a contract.
Yeah, they signed a contract.
What's this? The Express. This is a chap I met outside the stadium yesterday. He's the one that was outside Hotspur Way when me and John went down to the stadium the first time. He says, well, the title is Payback Time for Big Six. Super Six plotters told to quit key posts. That's the guy, another hero from last night. He was there right at the beginning, right till the end. What else have we got? And like this made me angry. These shirts that the Leeds guys are wearing were obviously produced by Sky or someone with the Champions League logo. Maybe it was produced by the Champions League or something. But everyone's just got their own agendas, don't they?
Mm-hmm. And none of them. Only the fans have the fans' agendas at heart, and that's it.
And then the last title from the Express is saying, restored Bale gets new boss off to a flyer. Life after Mourinho. 62% possession yesterday.
Yeah, we had quite a lot. So most of it coming in the second half. But look, we were patient. We were playing good football, especially in the second half. We were making it was pass and move. It was quick passing, and it was good to see. And I think it's easy to say, oh, Mourinho's gone. We're playing good football, because I think a lot. Remember that a lot of it, because you got to remember in the second half we were chasing the game. We were losing. So a lot of the times under Mourinho, it's been like we've been holding on to leads in the second half, and that's been our biggest problem. And and the one time where we were needing to go out in the second half and attack, like against Crystal Palace, when we conceded just before half time, then we did play good football, and we did go out and attack in the second half. So I think it's a bit disingenuous to say like, this is all down to Mason and we never played good football under Jose, but it was the fact that we did come back from behind for the first time this season from half time, and we did it by playing good football. It was very telling.
But in those 6 minutes of stoppage time, Jose would never have kept the team pushed up.
Correct. He would have sat back and he would have tried to ride it out, but Mason was braver in that sense. Here's footage apparently of the Man United fans.
Go on.
Of the Man United fans descending on the Man United training ground. Apparently,
isn't that Old Trafford?
This is Carrington training ground.
Oh.
There you go. That was footage from earlier today.
Grandpa Brian says, we should only have one agenda only, to get fan power on the board. If Levy accepts it, we should continue to support him, as he has invested a lot personally. Well, I'm not sure how much personally he's actually invested, but Levy.
No, I don't think he has.
I don't think he's invested much personally, but
except for time.
Yeah, I think that I get your point about the fan power. I think that fans on the board should be our number one priority. That's definitely true.
Agreed.
100%.
And here's the tweet from Sky Sports, Sky Cover, who's been on the front lines of this, reporting every day about the Super League and stuff. It says, owners beginning to sit up and take notice, hearing one owner close to throwing the towel in and putting his club up for sale. And I've got to say, when it comes to Sky Cover, I've been very sceptical of a lot of his reporting over the last 48 to 72 hours, because I was like, oh, he's just going to start pumping out rumours because that's what
Sky's agenda.
Exactly. Sky's interest is so doubting this whole thing, but pretty much every step of the way he's been pretty spot on. So I can't say, oh, it's just making the stuff up to back up his agenda, because he's actually been right. And every time he said something, it's pretty much borne out every time. So fair play to him.
Super chat here from Peter P saying, all 6 clubs should be fined and money go down to the grassroots of football.
Apparently, according to Florentino Perez, not only I was reading his quotes yesterday, and he said he was asked if any of the clubs have been fined yet for leaving the Super League. He said no clubs have been fined yet because no one's left. That's what he said. No one's left the Super League yet. And here he's got a quote saying, if anyone thinks the Super League is dead, they are wrong. The project is on standby. The Super League still exists. So he's clinging on to everything he can at the moment.
If they reform the Super League into a kind of way that we wanted, in terms of that it would help all clubs, not just no closed shop and all that kind of stuff, and more money for the greater game and for the lower teams as well, would you accept that with Florentino Perez heading it?
I would be extremely sceptical, in all honesty. I'm not. Look, after what they pulled, it's going to be tough to trust them again. But I'm open. I think all fans are open to definitely a reform of the game, and I think Perez definitely makes some good points in what he said yesterday in terms of the Champions League at the moment is not that interesting before the quarters, and I think there is some truth to that. I think in the group stages, there are some games where they are less interesting, and they probably don't make a lot of money.
Yeah, but you can't have, how many games are there in the group stages in total?
8? It was 6, sorry?
Yeah, how many in total? I'm talking about in all groups. How many? You know what I mean? There are a lot of games of football. Yeah. How are you supposed to make every single game exciting? It's a game of football at the end of the day. Yeah, what happens.
But what he's trying to say is, we
It's
have
tournament.
I know, but we have these games where they don't make a lot of money and stuff. And in this time, or just after this pandemic, where clubs have lost a lot of money, we have to find a way to maximise the most money out of every game. And I understand what he's saying. I think he's wrong in terms of how he's going about it, but I think I can understand where he's coming from, but I don't think this is the way, because I think it'll ruin football for the future. And I think people love the underdog and these small ties versus big games. That's what football's all about.
Exactly.
You know, because however much this club earns and that club earns and all this kind of background stuff to how big clubs are, at the end of the day, it's 11 on 11 when it comes down to it, and that's the beautiful thing. Anything can happen on a football pitch, and yeah, obviously, Man City are always 9 times out of 10 always going to beat Burnley at home and all these kind of things. But
on the odd occasion when it does happen,
never know. It's just
like,
so special.
Like Leicester winning the league, like Porto winning the league that year. You know what I mean? These teams wouldn't even be in it to get their chances.
Exactly. So that's the beauty of football. We can't take that away from the sport, and that's what they tried to do. They tried to take away that beauty, and that's what really hurt. Real Madrid fans outside of the Bernabeu protesting the Super League. So where fair play to them. I thought they weren't really protesting out in Spain and Italy, but looks like they are now. And Real Madrid also sending a message to Perez.
There's a lot of people there. It looks like the same amount as are in the Spurs protesting.
Doesn't seem that many. But I don't think it's a game day, so unless it was last night, I don't know. But they're outside the Bernabeu protesting the Super League. So big up to the Madrid fans as well, because I didn't see many protests from fans out in Italy and Spain beforehand. So happy that they're going ahead there.
We got a super chat here from Gregcellent. Structure European football into one big competition like the FA Cup, with teams joining at different stages. The drama of the giant killing is better than boring group stages. What do you make out of that? He's saying make one massive knockout tournament like the FA Cup in Europe.
Interesting. That could be decent. That could be decent as well. I'm just trying. Yeah, I think the Champions League and stuff, if it's not making enough money, I do agree. It needs more reform, because I think the Champions League, it's the biggest European competition, right? And the main aim of it, obviously, the main aim of it is to get the best team in Europe and stuff, and whoever wins it is to crown the champions of Europe and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when you're the biggest competition, it needs to be making lots of money. It needs to be working for the football pyramid. If it's not making enough money, then it's not attractive enough. That's the end. That's the bottom line. And if it's not attractive enough, it needs reform. And I don't know what the viewing figures are, blah blah blah. If they really are as bad as Perez is saying and whatnot, but if they are, then he has a point. It does need reform. It does need changing, but you can't do it the way he did.
The viewing figures are probably down because they sold to BT, and not everyone has BT.
True. Yeah, they're probably all just illegal streaming it. That's probably the thing.
That's the crux of the matter. I think if it was on Sky or on
ITV,
or ITV or BBC or something like that, the viewers would storm up. In my opinion,
I agree.
I think they missed the trick selling it to BT.
Peter P says all 6 clubs should be fined and money go down to the grassroots of football.
Yeah, I read that one.
Oh, did you? I didn't.
Yeah, Alex Samuel says Sky Cava says someone's selling. Yeah, we just reported that. Who would you think it is out of the top 6? It's not going to be Chelsea or Man City.
You reckon Arsenal?
Well, even Ian Wright's coming out and being like Kroenke out, and he works for the club.
Right. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's impossible to say who it is. I don't think it's Chelsea or City.
It's not. I think 100% it's not them.
So it's one of the other 4. I don't think it's Spurs either. So it's probably
could be Man U with Woodward leaving and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe United. Maybe the Glazers have had enough.
It's basically one of Man United,
Liverpool,
Spurs, or Liverpool. Arsenal. Liverpool, could it be, do you reckon? I don't know. It's hard to say. Scorpion fan for life is saying this year's Champions League had great group stage matches. Madrid losing to Gladbach. Perez doesn't
that was a great group.
Perez doesn't want upsets like this and is threatened of knockouts.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that as well. I agree that he wants to eliminate competition because Madrid nearly went out and stuff like that, and he doesn't want Madrid to be forced to qualify and, every year and stuff like that. He wants it to be automatic.
Madrid should have a God-given right to be basically in the final or the latter stages every year.
And don't get me wrong, I love the Champions League, and I think I watch the Champions League, and I'm always interested in the Champions League, and I'm a big fan of it. But if it's true that young fans are not interested in it and they're turning away from it, which I don't know if it's true or not. Look, I don't know the stats.
I can't see it being true, man.
I don't know the stats. I don't know the fact. Like,
Jolie's a young guy himself.
I can sit here and say it's rubbish and stuff, but I don't know. I'm not that age group anymore, so I don't know what they're interested in and stuff. And if it is true, then I think Florentino Perez does have a point there. That there needs reforming to keep interest, but he can't do it in the way he did. He can't.
I don't get how young people are moving away to sport. It's literally like this sport is just going from strength to strength in places like America and stuff like that.
It's growing.
It's growing. It's not declining. It's growing, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not too sure what he's on about. I'm really not.
Sure. It sounds like he's talking rubbish to me, but but the truth is I don't know the facts. You need to look down. You need to get all the data you can and try and see what the truth is. I don't know. Alistair Gold, in his latest column, has been talking about potential managers again, as we say before, and apparently these are the list of managers we are interested in, these are the list of managers we're not. He said, so first of all, starting with who we're not interested in, Marcelinho from Atletico Bilbao, that was rumoured. Maurizio Sarri, we said no, that's a no. Eddie Howe, that's a no. And Southgate.
I'm very happy with that no list. I'm very happy with that no list.
But the yes list, I wouldn't take one of these. Nagelsmann, Eric Ten Hag, Brendan Rodgers, Graham Potter, and Allegri.
I think the only one I don't want there is Allegri.
You don't want Allegri?
I think Allegri is just a bit too defensive for me. I would like either. I mean, Ten Hag was my original first choice when Poch got sacked, but I do have a few reservations about Ten Hag now. Rodgers, I like Rodgers, but his teams always seem to flop in second half of the season.
Late in the season.
Liverpool flopped that league with 2-3 games to go. Leicester last season, we all know what happened there. They showed relegation form second half of the season when they looked nailed on for top four. Potentially they could drop out top four again this year. We'll have to wait and see how that one plans out. I like Rodgers as a manager, but I've been apprehensive about his second half performances of the season.
But then again,
I feel like he burns out his teams maybe
Poch,
too
and
much.
He proved everyone wrong, didn't
he? Did, yeah, he did. But I think he needs to prove people wrong at Leicester before he moves on, kind of thing, to us.
And then Graham Potter.
Potter is an interesting one because obviously he's not one of those massive names that everyone's after. I think he's done a brilliant job at Brighton.
I was watching some of the highlights against Chelsea, and look, they play such good football. They play really good football, Brighton. They've played good football all season, and with a better set of players, could he be a lot more successful? I feel like he wouldn't be my number one. But
it's a risk.
It is, of course, it's a risk. But I like him. I really like Potter. I think he could do a good job for us, and he's someone who could definitely get us playing decent football. And I think people might be pleasantly surprised by what happens if we appoint him. In my opinion. Obviously, my number one being Nagelsmann, though, obviously. But to be honest, anyone on that yes list for me, I wouldn't be too disappointed with.
You take Allegri.
I would take Allegri. if he's willing to come. I don't think he would do Allegri because he would be too expensive. I think.
Well, doesn't have a club, no compensation to pay.
Yeah, but
in terms of
wages, a lot of
wages,
money. Exactly. It would cost probably not as much as Mourinho, but it'll probably be a similar ballpark.
You reckon?
I'm guessing. Yeah, He's one of these top managers. He's one of the top managers in the game. I know he doesn't have a club, but from what he's achieved as well, how many trophies he's won and stuff like that, like he'll demand a big fee for himself.
I'd rather go for a younger, more progressive manager, in my opinion.
Yeah, someone like to be honest, anyone of that. I'm not gonna sit here and say turn my nose up at Allegri. I'm not.
But
gonna do that.
again, someone at the protest asked me yesterday who I want as next manager, and I was like, you know what? I can't even think about that right now. There are so much more bigger problems we've got to deal with, and I think that we really need to. It just brings me back to my point how we really need to get this board thing sorted out, not just at Tottenham but around the Premier League. And if we can some way push in this fan-led thing with 50% plus one share in the Premier League in the hierarchy of all clubs, then I can start thinking about kind of that kind of stuff because I think it's all irrelevant.
Then
at the
you're not
moment.
going to think about it for years.
I know, but it makes me a bit disillusioned with it all.
Of course, but at least for me, like now the Super League has been put to bed for the time being. We have to at least try and from now to the end of the season anyway. Like there are now stakes again for the season, so we do have to kind of start thinking about this kind of stuff again because it now matters again.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as what they tried to do, the owners is always going to stick with us, and we can't forget it. We do also have to try and not move on from it just yet, but we have to try and kind of start enjoying our football again and start thinking about the footballing side because that was under threat. Pretty much, that was under threat in terms of nothing was ever going to matter again, and now at least things matter again, and that's important to acknowledge.
Yeah, it is. No, you're completely right, but I find it hard. I find it hard to fully concentrate on the footballing side, seeing as what our owners tried to do to us. I really find it hard. And obviously, look, it was the first game I watched yesterday. Obviously, I didn't plan not to watch it. It wasn't the plan. But I just like I said, I just find it really hard to fully concentrate on the footballing side when there are much bigger problems there as well.
Yeah.
I think we've run out of time, to be honest.
Sending in tweets. What's this from Jenk? Jenk Hoy says, oh no, it's just not. It says, real owners care about the fans, not business. That was after Ceballos in response to Ceballos tweeting about Ceballos TV. Mel, big up to Mel, tweeting, saying, say what you want about these guys. Say what you want, but these guys really care about this club. At WeAreTottenham TV. Wonder where 1882 Twitter are.
What is 1882 Twitter?
I think she's talking about those fans who just hide behind the AVIs and things like that.
Right.
Who just criticise everything. What is this? If you compare the performance only Kane and Son, Moura and Højbjerg are playing for the club, giving everything they have. The others are playing for the manager. They hate Mourinho and they stop performing. Yeah, I completely agree about that, Jason. Completely agree about that. All right. I think, what time is it? All right. I think that's it.
All right. That is all we got time for today. Check back later as we'll be giving you player ratings and the 5 takeaways from the game yesterday. Thank you all for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.